Okay, I think I may need to take a Tylenol before I do this review because I just spent 3 hours listening to Leo DiCaprio practically shouting in my ear and throwing money at my face. It's not really what I expected to do for Christmas, but whatever. But that's what The Wolf of Wall Street is about. It's a movie that is bombastic, it's vulgar, it's a very, very extreme satire on capitalism, and of course it's directed by Martin Scorsese. It's another film for him that's about greed and the price we pay for it, the rise and fall of somebody who did a lot of bad things. And so this is no groundbreaker. But it is, like, as I said, very big and grand, like really big, like obnoxiously big. Seriously, I mean, the whole time you're watching people, sometimes in slow motion, sometimes sped up. You're watching people with their eyes bulging out of their head and their veins popping out, and they're just going like, ah! And trust me, it gets old very quickly. But of course, I'm going to start with the good things about this movie before I go on to the kind of longer list of things that I didn't like about the movie. First of all, no matter what you think about this movie, or about any movie that you've seen by Martin Scorsese, you have to admit that the dude has ridiculous talent as an auteur, a filmmaker. He knows how to make an impression, and he knows how to orchestrate a film. And this movie is no exception. It looks fantastic. It's quick, it really pops on the screen, it's zippy, the camera has, of course, that wonderful trademark fluidity, musicality that we all know and love from Martin Scorsese, and it's almost like an expertly crafted montage. 3-hour expertly crafted montage, but it's expertly crafted nonetheless, just in terms of the way it's done visually. I never was a fan of Leo DiCaprio, if you watch my reviews often, you know that. I'll say it again. I just think to me, he's like James Cagney, but without taking those risks and without the sense of danger and depth. He's more just somebody who seems to be screaming all the time without any depth. But in this movie, that works to his favor because, I mean, the movie is full of people who are screaming all the time and who are completely shallow and have no depth. So, yeah, I thought he was great in the movie. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but it worked. The first 30 minutes of this movie completely had me in the palm of its hands. I was absolutely enjoying myself. It was so entertaining. I love the zippy pace of it. I love the droll humor as well. Fantastic opening. And speaking of the opening, Matthew McConaughey has a very memorable scene that I'm sure many people have seen in the trailer. And it's, to me, the best thing in the movie. And I know I'm saying that again. It's like every time I see a McConaughey movie, I'm like, oh, he's amazing. And right now I'm saying he's the best thing in the movie, even though he really only has one scene. So now you do officially know that the apocalypse is coming. His scene is just, it's one of those things where you just don't know where he's going to go, where he's going to take the scene. It's not only his acting, but the writing. It's strange. It's creative. It's witty. It's a little wild. And it's one of those things where you're watching McConaughey and you're like, I don't know, how, like, where you're watching the character, I should say. You're like, I don't know how drugged up this guy is, but whatever it is, I know that he's brilliant, and he is on another level that I will never be at. But after the first, I say, like, maybe 30 to 50 minutes of the movie, I think just the idea that Scorsese was going for and the style wears out its welcome. And it left me kind of exhausted. And this is going to, lead me to the things that I did not like about the film. I understand what Scorsese is trying to do. He's trying to show us the grotesque nature of humanity by basically using the style of the movie to basically slap us in the face, hit us over the head with this auteur style. And he wants you to leave the movie, and by the end of it, he wants you to be just absolutely disgusted and exhausted by what you're taking in. I absolutely understand that. But to me, it's a very one-sided depiction of commodity fascism. To me, this film is like going to a Mexican restaurant and ordering a margarita. And I mean like a margarita with all the swirls and the little umbrellas in it, the whole 9 yards. And you really like the margarita, so they keep bringing you more. And after the first few, you're still on a high, you're happy, you're enjoying yourself. It's sweet, it's tangy, it's everything you want from a margarita. But after a while, they keep bringing them to you, and you're starting to feel kind of lethargic, and you're thinking, okay, I've definitely had enough. But they keep bringing them to you, and you keep going, you keep drinking them. And by the end of it, you're like, okay, seriously, stop. I need to stop. I'm going to be sick. And that's just how I saw the movie. You know, I don't want to go to a restaurant and just order a margarita. I want the hors d'oeuvres and I want the full meal. I want to experience all the flavors and the textures. I mean, I want a full experience, not just a margarita. The character that Leo DiCaprio plays or I shouldn't just say him, but almost all the characters in the film are basically just caricatures. They're kind of cardboard cutouts without any sort of redemptive qualities or anything that makes them multifaceted. Like, you know, even his wife, you know, their relationship is just something that I didn't care about, because she's just there really to look pretty and to scream and yell at him when she has to be the bearer of his children. And I don't know, just when you have a movie full of just shallow representations of people, that's just, I don't really get anything out of that. I prefer satires that not only parody something very dark or something very topical in our world, but something that also gives multiple dimensions to the characters and the situations, so that we as an audience are forced to look at them from multiple angles. You know, you're not like with this movie, you're most of the time you're just pointing and laughing and saying, look at those animals, you know. And I don't want to just point and laugh. I want to connect, so that way I may see myself in these people as well. We all make our mistakes, and we're all very greedy, and a lot of us are materialistic, but you know, if you don't connect to the people, it's not going to really affect you on a deep level. So I can't quite recommend this movie. I would say if you are a fan of Scorsese, you may just want to check it out because, I mean, it is Scorsese. And I think, you know, if you are a fan, a diehard fan, you might like it. Because again, it looks great and you have to admire the craft of it visually and everything. But that, at the end of the day, that's just not enough for me. There's nothing really for you to sink your teeth into. And it's just not very meaty of a story. These characters are just uninteresting to me. Again, I want the full meal. That's my review. If you would like to comment below, you may do so. And also you can follow me on Twitter. The link is below. And thank you for listening.